Mic check, testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Mic check, testing 1, 2, 3, 4.
members of the media joining us here at the Embassy of Jamaica in Washington, D.C., and those joining us remotely on our Zoom platform or social media live pages, Facebook and Instagram, good afternoon. I'm Tanisha Ellison, and I'll be moderating this afternoon's press briefing. By way of context, as you would recall, Hurricane Melissa made landfall in Jamaica on October 28th, just a couple of days ago. Not only was it the first ever Cat 5 hurricane to make a direct hit to Jamaica, but it is also considered one of the strongest Atlantic hurricanes on record. To share important updates on the relief efforts on the way in Jamaica, Jamaica's ambassador to the United States and permanent representative to the Organization of American States, His Excellency Major General retired Antony Anderson, will now make remarks. Ambassador.
Thank you, Tanisha, for that introduction. And certainly let me add my own thanks to our friends from the media for being here or joining online. We always appreciate the role you play in keeping our various publics informed and keeping these sorts of tragedies on the front burner and in people's view. I also want to thank the many persons who, for their overwhelming support to our nation at this time, and also to our diaspora here in the United States. Governments from across the world have reached out. Private sector companies, large NGOs, multilateral organizations, and individuals who care have all been reaching out in very material ways to support Jamaica in this time of need. So, ladies and gentlemen, it cannot be overemphasized that there is extensive damage in the western end of Jamaica, or in the western half of Jamaica is probably a better way of putting it. The country is suffering significantly at the moment, and even though we have launched a whole response mechanism, the response to a Category 5 hurricane with 180-mile-per-hour winds will strain, test, and probably overwhelm any response mechanism that you can put in place. However, if you do have these mechanisms in place, you stand a better chance of getting a more coherent and coordinated response. So, as was said, this happened on the 28th. And so, time is not on our side as we do the relief effort and the rescue effort in Jamaica. Because as days pass, people become more desperate. The needs grow and increase, and the concerns increase. What we do know is that we have also, apart from significant infrastructure damage, we have massive damage for homes and shelter, and also a lot of blockages of roads, of roadways, that of course impedes and inhibits the response to this disaster. So there are cut-off communities that we are making our way to. Reports are at the moment that we have actually 19 dead confirmed, and we're hearing about other probable deaths. And with this sort of disaster, as we go through it, and we start to clear rubble as we access inaccessible places, as water starts to recede, that number is likely to go up. It's very important, therefore, that, as I emphasize, speed in the process of rescue and relief is significant. We fortunately have had some large NGOs come into Jamaica before it even struck, and subsequently the relief supplies have been flowing in, and I'll give you some information on that. Our international airports were reopened on Wednesday evening into Thursday morning. Yesterday we had 13 cargo relief flights, plus some commercial flights and private flights coming into Norman Manley International Airport in Kingston, which was less affected by the hurricane because it's in the east. Today we expect another 20 cargo flights, as well as by tomorrow morning at about 7 o'clock we should have Montego Bay Airport open so that persons who are stuck in Jamaica, tourists, etc., we can get them out. So we'll be getting them out starting tomorrow morning with commercial flights. So we'll be working 3 airports, 3 international airports, one in the center of the island, one in Montego Bay, one in Kingston, to get relief supplies in and as a response to what's going on. Of course, getting it in is the first step. Getting it to the people is the big part. A lot of the places that are cut off, we're going to have to use airlift to get them in. And I'll just say that at the moment, as we speak, we have helicopters arriving in Jamaica that were provided by the U.S. government. And I believe it is 4 that have landed so far, and then I believe we have another 4 coming in later on or into tomorrow. Also from the U.S. government, federal government, in conjunction with state teams, are 2 SAR teams, one that landed yesterday from Fairfax County, and then a SAR firefighter team out of LA coming in, I believe, later on today. The DART, the Disaster Assistance Response Team, arrived yesterday in Jamaica to start their work of assessment, to see what else is required, and to be able to reach back into the U.S. government to see how we continue that support. From the U.S. side, the mission side here, we have been reached out to by a number of members of Congress, members of state governments, all seeking to support us. And I really thank them, everyone who reached out and who want to provide this material support in our time of need. As the relief effort continues, it will be guided at 2 levels. At the highest level, at the political level, there is a relief and recovery committee of the cabinet that has been put together, led by 2 cabinet ministers, and they will be driving everything from that level. Below that, we have the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, which is the standing body that deals with these disasters. And then there's also a private sector coordination committee that has been established, led by one of our senators, to ensure that the activities of the private sector are so coordinated that we get the benefit of that as well. So there are layers. It's necessary for the coordination, but I just want to emphasize that some of the support we've gotten has been technical support as well. And this incident is too large, this disaster is too large and too severe not to reach out and take the best of what the world has to offer in terms of disaster logistics, disaster response, disaster relief, and ultimately disaster recovery. So we recognize that this is a difficult time for many places in the world. There are challenges here, and there are challenges across the world. And that makes it even more important. It makes it more searching for the right word here. But it emphasizes how when you have this kind of disaster, that is where you see the true humanity coming out. And and that's important. I know Jamaica as a country, we have deployed all over in support of other people who have had similar issues, and I guess we're getting some of it back now, and that's really, really great. Our diaspora here, we have perhaps 1.5 million people, Jamaicans, integrated throughout the United States society. They rally quickly, and they have ongoing support mechanisms to Jamaica, and they have ramped that up. We have charities that are working here and in Jamaica normally, and those have ramped up their activities as well. And all of that bodes well for us. We are a strong people, and we're resilient people. And as we transition, as the rescue continues, as the relief efforts get into high gear, as the supplies flow in, and we get them to the people in need, we'll see that resilience come into play. It is really the time for our diaspora and our allies, our friends to band together. And there are many ways in which people can support what we're doing. And there are banners to the side of me here, left and right, which is the official government way of donating funds. I must say that unfortunately in these things you end up with people putting up all kinds of sites, hoping to trick people into donating to something that is really not going to go to Jamaica. It's donations that will go to them. Unfortunately, this always happens, so I'd advise people to be careful how they donate. There are so many certified good mechanisms to donate. If it just popped up yesterday, it probably isn't real. So the support jamaica.gov.jm, because there might be other endings on this. You might see support Jamaica at something else, but the .gov.jm, that is the official government of Jamaica site. Now, there are a number of people who normally give to various 501c3s here in the United States and support Jamaica. Those ones are still up and running. Some of them have put up pages to support Jamaica. Some of them are doing matching. Usually those ones, if you know them and have used them and you have relationships with them, then that's fine. I know there are all sorts of groups and people gathering things to send them down, and we appreciate it all. We are doing our best to coordinate our activities across the U.S. with our consulates and our honorary consuls. There are a series of drop-off points here for people who want to donate actual goods. And there's a mechanism for actually volunteering where we can look at the people and their skill sets, the volunteers and their skill sets, so that we have the appropriate people flowing into Jamaica, supporting at the right time. I'll just say that from my own experience in many, many disasters, having deployed many times on this sort of things, quite often, enthusiastic volunteers are not necessarily the best volunteers. I mean, you need enthusiasm, but you need skills also. Otherwise, you can get a net burden on an already strained system. And that's why we ask that we know who's going in so that we can appoint people to what's best for their own skill sets. Now, I know a number of people are going in anyway. That's good. Thank you, and thank you for what you will bring to it. As I say, support jamaica.gov.jm. You can, a series of drop-off points it's on our social media, on websites, and again, perhaps you should, or I should, end in the same way I started. Thank you all. Thank you all. Jamaica thanks you for your response.
Hi, Ava Thompson with News Nation. I just wanted to ask, you mentioned earlier there were reports of 19 confirmed deaths. What is the actual Jamaican government's count of the confirmed deaths so far? And to follow up, what else does the United States need, or what else does Jamaica need from the United States, or has the United States offered any other support?
Okay, so to your first one, 19 is the official count. That doesn't mean that we're not aware or we hear that there are others, but for an official count, you actually have to be precise in what we say. But we're aware that there are probably more than that. As the water subsides, as we get more access into places that are remote, we'll probably find that, and we start to clear rubble, debris, and so on. Chances are we'll find some more. Your other question was?
What else has the United States offered?
Well, so one of the processes, so what has come in so far is the thing you do immediately, almost instantaneously. It was clear that based on the number of roads that are cut off, that we would need airlift, so hence helicopters. We need rescue teams, hence Fairfax County and LA. 2 teams, 30 plus people with canines. And we need the DART. So that's a disaster assistance response team. The response team now does their assessment in conjunction with the government of Jamaica and the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, and that triggers the flow of things into the country. The key on this is that the efforts are coordinated, that the people who are bringing in supplies connect with the people who can distribute it, with our military who is out there, with our Ministry of Labor and Social Security, with people like Global Empowerment Mission, World Food Program, World Central Kitchen is out there, and so on. And all of that flows together to give the outcomes we want. Yes.
All right, that was a good start to our Q&A session. Just a little house rules. If you have a question, please just state your name, the media house you're coming from. Because we have media reps on our online platforms, I'm just going to ask that you type your question in, and our team will be happy to pull those questions and we'll have them read so you can get responses to those questions. Do we have any more questions?
Richard Fowler, Forbes Magazine. Question around, you talked about the diaspora, Mr. Ambassador.
Yes.
The 1.5 million folks in Jamaica. For those folks who are here who are looking for
Right.
What's the best way for them to sort of make sure that their family members on the island are okay?
Okay, so it's going to be, it will, if it comes in here or goes into the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, once you go to this site, most things are supportjamaica.gov.jm. Most things are on that site. But let me just add that at the moment, almost today, later on today, a team from the headquarters of Starlink is going in to Jamaica. We are looking at so there are a number of Wi-Fi sites across the country that will now be linked to Starlink so that people have comms. Once we get the comms back up, then people will be able to reach out to their loved ones. I would ask that people exercise some patience. The truth of the matter is that the first responders who are out there can't get to everyone yet. But because you haven't heard doesn't mean that the person is necessarily harmed or injured. And I understand fully the sort of concerns people have, and necessarily so. And each day it gets more concerned. Hence I said we don't have the luxury of time. But as we get moving, and some people have managed to find out more, and I would ask that people share, and that's what they've been doing down there. So one person gets out, and then we know more about it. So that's it. It's a high priority for us. Initially, it's going to be limited to how we can respond to that. We will discuss later on about how we can just get a platform to take requests. The thing is that we recognize that it's going to be limited how quickly we can respond to that. So we would manage expectations in that regard. As first responders get out, as our military reaches in different areas, they cleared roads yesterday. Another 30 kilometers was cleared. We're going to ensure that there's a road coming from Savlamar to Black River, for those who know where that is. That's in the south and west of the country. Those roads are being opened up. Once we get that, then we have to go into the hinterland to find out where people are. So I know people are concerned about their loved ones, and many, many calls have come into the mission on that, but it's limited, our response now. I suspect as we get the Starlinks out, as our police get more access, we'll be pushing the information back so that people are aware that their loved ones are okay. So I know people are concerned. I know there is that nervousness that over days becomes, more burdensome on you. But it does not mean that there's something wrong other than that they are cut off from communicating. 70% of the country is out of electricity, and that the build-back process of that will take some time. In the areas that the grid is actually intact, the public service company is busy restoring power where it is not restored. Obviously, where the eye passed, the infrastructure is broken. So that's part of that is going to be a rebuild. And to that extent, we are happy that some of our electrical partners across the world are reaching out to see how they can support our electric company, our electricity company. So that's going on as well at the same time.
Follow up to that. Talking about the infrastructure, around healthcare infrastructure. I mean,
Good.
The diaspora also does have a very strong healthcare infrastructure in the United States, and they can be doing in this moment to assist rebuilding what you said is a destroyed healthcare infrastructure on the western parts of the island.
Well, we have extensive damage to about 4 hospitals in the West, or the 4 hospitals in the West, or 4 or 5. So 4 of them are badly damaged. And we are looking at getting in field hospitals as early as this weekend. We're expecting 2 initially, and then other field hospitals. And so once those come in place, we'll be able to have a more robust medical outreach to support the western end of the island, and we also have medical personnel coming in. Of course, in the diaspora, we have significant numbers of medical people. They have reached out as well, and we're coordinating with the Ministry of Health exactly how they can support the efforts there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Just to follow up on that question, is there a timeline yet for rebuilding, and what is the rebuilding process in Jamaica going to look like?
Okay, so at the moment we're rescue and relief. At some point, and it will probably be in a few weeks, we'll start that rebuilding, and they will go concurrently. So how it works is initially rescue relief. Relief transitions into rebuilding. So you'll be doing relief still and rebuilding at the same time. Once you're into and over time, you'll be doing more rebuilding, less relief. You want to try and get the economy going again. So businesses will have to try and get those up and running again. So that that's part of the road to normalcy, part of the road to recovery. The rebuilding is going to take a while. By any stretch of the imagination, it's going to take a while. And that's why the government has put in place the mechanisms to ensure that's done in a very coherent and very coordinated way. Obviously, the more finances that come in is the quicker and better we can rebuild. There are financial arrangements already, but I believe the damage will exceed what those are. Unfortunately, I can't give you an estimate of the cost of damage yet. That's just happening now, that kind of assessment. We don't know, but we know it is very extensive. And this disaster is going to strain all of our mechanisms. But we're not in it alone. We have a lot of support, and that redounds to the benefit of Jamaica.
More questions? We have one question from New York Times joining us online. Beyond the emergency aid, what will Jamaica be asking for from the U.S. for long-term reconstruction?
Well, that will be decided. As I say, the first step is to get the team in to deal with the challenges that the people out there are facing right now, to get them back under shelter, to get food to people, and so on. The recovery effort, I mean, the truth of the matter is that the United States has been a long time and great partner for Jamaica. As I say, we have our diaspora is here. You live here. They have 1 foot here and 1 foot in Jamaica. That's our reality. And the United States is a country with huge capacity as well. And huge capacity for good. And so I suspect as the assessment is done, we'll be in a better position to say how exactly that road to recovery is going to happen, the step-by-step, the actual concrete things. What we do know is national infrastructure that is damaged will have to be rebuilt. Roads that are gone will have to be replaced. We know that hospitals that are significantly damaged will have to be rebuilt or repaired. And depending on where it is, it may make more sense to rebuild it somewhere else rather than repair it. I mean, like every other country, we have infrastructure and buildings that have been there for, forever. And this hurricane that did all of this damage will allow us to make decisions about how we go forward with things.
All right, if there are no more questions.
Well, thank you. Thank you all. Thank you so much. Jamaica appreciates this, and appreciate you media guys for coming here and supporting us. Thanks.
That sounds okay. Yeah, no, that sounds perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
I'm curious about tree work.
That's the perfect answer ever.
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
A lot of things having to do with the economics of America. We took in approximately $3 trillion over the last few days from the trips that we made. They were unbelievable. The deal with China is going to be wonderful. I think it's going to be long-lasting. I got really along with President Xi very well, as you saw. You were there. Many of you were there. And I think it's great. I think it's great. I think it's really good. Are you set? Are you okay?
I'm sorry, I'm not getting any audio for the whole.
Okay, well, let's get it right.
All right, we have it now, sir.
Okay. So the trip was fantastic. We took in over $3 trillion, really in profit, if you want to define it that way. You see the farmers are very happy. I think it's 25 million tons, but it's numbers that they've never seen before in terms of the soybeans, in terms of other things. We have numbers coming to our farmers that the farmers have never seen before from China. Our farmers are very happy. I suggested they go out and buy larger tractors and more land. Okay? We want larger tractors and more land because nobody's ever seen anything like it. I've given China great incentives to hold down the fentanyl, get rid of it ideally. You know, a lot of people don't know it's used as an anesthesia, it's used as a lot of things. A lot of good things happen, but unfortunately when it's developed a certain way, a lot of bad things happen. Because a lot of people would say, well, why is it made? I mean, it's made for a lot of good purposes, but it also has some very bad purposes when you design it a certain way and people can take it and design it. So China's working very hard on that. I really believe that. And they have an incentive. I'd love to get rid of the extra 10%. I put a 20% penalty on. I had a great conversation about it with President Xi yesterday, and I'd love to get rid of the other. As soon as we see that, we'll get rid of the other 10%. Other than that, we haven't cut the tariffs at all with China. But we're going to have a great relationship with them, I think, for a long period of time. If we have a smart president, we'll have a great relationship. If we don't have a smart president, which is also a very strong possibility, then we won't have a great relationship. But China is, the meeting with China was incredible. The meeting with Japan, incredible. And the meeting with South Korea, likewise, incredible, all of them. And trillions of dollars are coming back to our country because of those meetings. And we have others planned with other countries, but those are big ones. And the meeting with China was one that everybody wanted. The meeting with the new Prime Minister, who's fantastic, of Japan, could not have gone better. We've worked out our deal. And South Korea, you saw the way we were treated. Our country is respected again. When they treat me with that kind of respect, they're treating our country with that kind of respect, which is much more important. And our country is respected again. Do you have any questions?
Mr. President, there are reports that you are considering strikes within Venezuela. Is that true?
No.
That you made a decision on that?
No, it's not true.
Mr. President, on the nuclear strikes, the nuclear tests that you were talking about, are you talking about literally resuming underground nuclear detonation tests?
You'll find out very soon, but we're going to do some testing, yeah. Other countries do it. If they're going to do it, we're going to do it.
Okay, you can't clarify whether you will resume.
I'm not going to say yet. I mean, I know exactly what we're doing, where we're doing it, but other countries are doing it, and if other countries do it, we do it.
Do you have any more details on the FBI thwarting that that terrorist attack in Michigan that was set to happen over the weekend, Halloween weekend? The FBI
We're
thwarted
catching
that?
people before they ever start. Yep.
Mr. President, your response to Viktor Orban saying he'll ask for an exemption from U.S. sanctions on Russian oil?
He has asked for an exemption. We haven't granted one, but he has asked. Victor, he's a friend of mine. He's asked for an exemption. What else?
Mr. President, on Venezuela.
Yeah, please.
What did you talk about with Prime Minister Carney? Are you and Canada going to resume negotiations?
No, but I have a very good relationship. I like him a lot. But you know what they did was wrong. He was very nice. He apologized for what they did with the commercial, because it was a false commercial. You know, it was the exact opposite. Ronald Reagan loved tariffs, and they tried to make it look the other way. And he did apologize, and I appreciated it. We had a great dinner, you know, with other countries, as you know. And I think we have a very good relationship personally. I think that what they did was wrong, but he apologized.
On those SNAP benefits set to expire tomorrow, folks are talking about putting out about canned goods and non-perishables for trick-or-treaters. Is there a possibility, like you did with the military moving around funds, is there a possibility to do that
Well,
for
there
millions of
always is, but
Americans?
all the Democrats have to do is say, let's go. I mean, you know, they don't have to do anything. They don't have to agree. All they have to do is say, the government is open. And we only need 5 Democrats. But they're, you know, they've become a radical left party. They really have they've become a very radical left party now. And they've lost their minds. They've lost their minds. All they have to do is say, the government is open, and that's the end of it. And, you know, largely, when you talk about SNAP, you're talking about largely Democrats. But I'm president. I want to help everybody. I want to help Democrats and Republicans. But when you're talking about SNAP, if you look, it's largely Democrats. They're hurting their own people. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay. Happy Halloween and all of that. So we had an amazing trip. We had incredible meetings with President Xi of China. As you know, with the brilliant new Prime Minister of Japan, we just had a great time. And with the President of South Korea, we had an amazing journey. We also saw a lot of other countries. We brought back home with us trillions of dollars, many trillions of dollars. And our country is doing well. The shutdown proceeds because the Democrats just don't know what they're doing. I don't know what's wrong with them. They've never done a thing like this. They've become crazed lunatics. All they have to do is say, let's go, let's open up our country, and everything snaps back into shape. So there's something wrong with them.
Mr. President, are you going to meet with Democratic leadership?
I'm always going to meet. All they have to do is open up the country. Let them open up the country, and we'll meet. We'll meet very quickly. But they have to open up the country. It's their fault. Everything is their fault. It's so easily solved. You know, we have a number of Democrats that have already voted for this. But the Republicans are very unified. They're very strong. And they want to do what's right for the country. They don't want to see trillions of dollars wasted on people that came into our country illegally, many from prisons and many from areas that you don't want to even know about. So we'd like to see this taken care of rapidly. You have a lot of, we have tremendous support, but it's not even support, it's common sense. Open up the country. Obamacare has turned out to be a disaster, as I've been saying for years. It can be fixed or redone. People don't get good health care, and their premiums go up every single year. So we should change it. It's a disaster. Obamacare is bad health care at a very high price. So tonight we have a big celebration of Halloween, and I'll see you later. Thank you very much.
downright painful.
Put in a word with it all.
No.